Brought to you by Penguin. Nazi Literature in the Americas by Roberto Bolaño. Read by Jonathan Davis.
For Carolina Lopez. If the flow is slow enough, and you have a good bicycle or a horse, it is possible to bathe twice, or even 3 times, should your personal hygiene so require, in the same river. Augusto Monterroso. The Mendiluce Clan. Edelmira Thompson de Mendiluce. Buenos Aires, 1894 to Buenos Aires, 1993. At 15, Edelmira Thompson published her first book, To Daddy, which earned her a modest place in the vast gallery of lady poets active in Buenos Aires high society. And from then on, she was a regular presence in the salons of Jimena San Diego and Susana Lescano Lafinur, dictators of taste in poetry and of taste in general, on both banks of the Rio de la Plata at the dawn of the 20th century. Her first poems, as one might reasonably have guessed, were concerned with filial piety, religious meditation, and gardens. She flirted with the idea of taking the veil. She learned to ride. In 1917, she met the rancher and entrepreneur Sebastián Mendiluce, 20 years her senior. Everyone was surprised when they announced their engagement, after only a few months. According to people who knew him at the time, Mendiluce thought little of literature in general, and poetry in particular, had no artistic sensibility, although he did occasionally go to the opera, and his conversation was on a par with that of his farm hands and factory workers. He was tall and energetic, but not handsome by any means. There was, however, no disputing his inexhaustible wealth. Edelmira Thompson's friends considered it a marriage of convenience, but in fact she married for love, a love that neither she nor Mendiluce was ever able to explain and which endured imperturbably all the days of her life. Marriage, which ends the careers of so many promising women writers, quickened the pen of Edelmira Thompson. She established a salon in Buenos Aires to rival those of the redoubtable Jimena San Diego and Susana Lescano Lafinur. She took young Argentinian painters under her wing, not only buying their work. In 1950, her collection of paintings and sculptures was, if not the best in the Republic, certainly one of the largest and most extravagant, but also inviting them to paint at her ranch in Azul, far from the madding crowd, all expenses paid. She founded a publishing house, the Lamp of the South, which brought out more than 50 books of poetry, many of which were dedicated to Edelmira herself, the fairy godmother of Argentinian letters. In 1921, she published her first book of prose, All My Life, an idyllic and rather flat autobiography, devoid of gossip, full of landscapes and poetic meditations. Contrary to the author's expectations, it disappeared from the bookshop windows in Buenos Aires without leaving so much as a ripple. Disappointed, Edelmira set off for Europe with her 2 small sons, 2 servants, and more than 20 suitcases. She visited Lourdes and the great cathedrals. She had an audience with the Pope. A yacht took her from island to island in the Aegean. She reached Crete one midday in spring. In 1922, in Paris, she published a book of children's verse in French and another in Spanish. Then she returned to Argentina. But things had changed, and Edelmira did not feel at ease in her country. Her new book of poems, European Hours 1923, was described in a local newspaper as precious. The nation's most influential reviewer.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?